All right, we are back. We had a minor problem. We were recording, lights went off, but we're back. Everything's good. We're still recording. We might have some like black screen on half of the video just because my power went off, but my Wi-Fi didn't, which was weird. But anywho, we're here. Um, any last thoughts that you want to add on Jesus Aguilar against Mateus Mendoza?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's either he's gonna get him out of there, or he's gonna gas out, and he's gonna die. So either he's gonna kill or be killed. That's basically all I can see on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving forward, we have Raoni Barcelos against Christian Quinones. Um, I can break this one down. I think Barcelos should be fine here. He's fought the better competition. Yeah, he's getting there up there in age. He's 36, but I just think that Christian Rodriguez Quinones, excuse me, Christian Quinones does not belong here. His contender series fight was extremely bad. It was against a guy named Long Xiao, and Long Xiao outstroke him in the contender series, and that wasn't a great look for me. Raoni Barcelos, like I said, he's fought the better competition. Yeah, he's a little bit older, but there's a grappling upside there. He's a better fighter. He's better everywhere, in my opinion. I think he takes this one pretty easily. Minus 175, that's a pretty good price right now to parlay it with something else. But other than that, Raoni Barcelos by submission at plus 400. You can play that as well. What do you think? What do you have here?
Okay, before I start off on this, if you lay any money down on Barcelos, you are the biggest degenerate I've ever met. This man is on what is he? He's like 4-1, or I mean 1-4 in his last five fights. He's currently on a two-fight losing streak. Aging Brazilian fighter in the lighter weight classes. Not a good combination, but he is fighting Christian Quiones, and like you said, I don't think he's that great of a fighter. I know he's gonna come forward the entire fight, try to make it a dirty fight and shoot for takedowns. And he's very fast and athletic, but I don't think he's all that. We know Barcelos, but every time I've picked this guy or considered picking this guy, he's let me down. But we throw one last tire on the wagon or whatever people say, those country folks.
One last one.
Well-rounded fighter. He throws good volume. Brazilian wrestling national champ. I don't know how credible that is because it's not like a United States wrestling national champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
America number one. Yeah. But anyway, he's well-rounded everywhere, but he's getting older, and that's not the best for these lighter weight classes. But I think I'm going to be riding with Barcelos with you. I'm definitely not touching this. I think he's the more dangerous fighter. The only thing with it is Christian is younger, and it looks like Barcelos is on that decline, but I think he's got at least able to pull one out for us. So I'm gonna ride with him. But if he goes down, I swear I hope this bum gets shipped out to PFL Bellator Champions card next.
Yeah, I think if you look at Barcelos' last opponents, like Kyler Phillips, he's pretty good. Like I rate him pretty good.
And Umar,
Umar, yeah, like come on, it's Umar Nurmagomedov. After that, Trevin
the
Jones,
juiciest.
he easily beat. Victor Henry is, Victor Henry's pretty good too. Like he's a solid opponent, you know. So that's not a bad loss. I'm not gonna go back after that, but I mean, I rate. Here's what it comes down to. Do you rate Quinones better to be than Trevin Jones, or do you rate Trevin Jones to be better than Quinones? Because that's what it comes down to. If you think Quinones is worse than Trevin Jones, then I think Raoni Barcelos takes this. If you think Quinones is better than Trevin Jones and probably as good as Kyler Phillips, then you're on the Quinones side, of course. I think that Quinones is a fraud, in my opinion. He's lost basically all his fights in the UFC, right? He got submitted by Kang Young Ha, and
Yeah,
he got Ostroke in his contender series by Xiang Long or Long Xiao. So and Long Xiao is not great if you've seen him fight. I'm gonna roll Raoni. I think he beats all of these pretenders that want to be in the UFC, and Christian Quinones is another one for him to add on his list. Trevin Jones was his last person that be added on his list. So Christian Quinones, you're next, but I'm riding with Raoni Barcelos. Anything you want to add?
agreed. No, not really. I agree with everything you said. Basically, down to the point. I think that Barcelos is going to win this fight. I think even at this age, I think he's still better than Quiones. But I just need to. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on this one. Definitely not touching it with no money.
Absolutely. Next fight, we have Manuel Torres against Chris Duncan. Manuel Torres, they call him the 3 minute cardio man because he only has cardio for 3 fucking minutes. Chris Duncan, actually, I think he has somewhat of a game plan every time he fights. The chin is sus. I think he's the better grappler in this fight. Um, I think I might, for just for betting purposes, I might add Chris Duncan just for fun. If he dies, he dies. But I think he's just a much better grappler. If he can survive 3 minutes at altitude, with probably not even 3 minutes, a minute and a half, because Manuel Torres has no cardio whatsoever. You've seen all his fights. I've seen his fights, and every time he gasses out, let's see. Let me pull it up. But let's see, Manuel Torres. Which fight was it that he got gassed out really bad? I think it was the Moda fight that he gassed out, or he was gassing out. There was another one that was extremely bad, uh, but I can't seem to find it. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think oh, the Frank Camacho fight. Um, yes, he knocked him out, or right hook. Yeah, he knocked him out, but it didn't look too good. He looked pretty gassed in that fight as well against Frank Camacho. And like I said, this is at altitude 4,000 meters. Hopefully, Chris Duncan can survive. I mean, he can't. Sometimes he does take some big hits, but his chin is kind of sus. He does get like knocked down or wobbled most of the time as well. I just think he's the better grappler in this fight, and that's why I'm picking him to. I'm choosing him to back him up. What do you think?
Yeah, so when I was looking at this fight, Manuel Torres, he's coming off that he KO'd Nicholas Mata in the first round, I think, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Very well-rounded striking wise. He's dangerous. He's going to use that range and has pretty good grappling, but like you said, his cardio is not all that. And Duncan coming into this fight, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's a very durable fighter, very tough. He has very good power in his hands, and he's really always in the fight until the end. His takedowns are pretty good, but he does struggle down to hold down his opponents. They do find a way to get back up. I think Torres is the harder hitter, and I think he's going to keep this fight technical. But can I trust that cardio is the real question. Duncan, very sus to me, but I think Duncan is probably going to win this fight. I think it's probably going to be pretty close in the first opening round. And then if it goes past that, I think Duncan probably takes over. And I got Duncan on this pick. Would I put money on it? Possibly. I might put Duncan in a parlay. What do they have his odds at, if I'm being honest?
Plus 160,
Uh,
so pretty good.
yeah, so not bad to throw in a parlay. Would I make it my big prize parlays or throw it in every parlay? Probably not, but I would throw him in probably one. I think he's a pretty good dog in this one, especially in a card that's very weird like this, that a lot of these people can come out as dogs and come barking.
Yeah, I think. I mean, in order to play this card, I think there isn't like every card, in my opinion, has like at least 3 fighters that you can be like, or at least 2 fighters that you can be like, yeah, these 2 people are gonna win for sure. And then on the third leg, you add your wild card, the one that you're gonna sweat. That's how I do it, at least. Um, I don't think this card has any of that. To be honest, I feel like all of them could be wild cards, especially with the altitude being a huge factor in this fight night. So I think whatever I'm gonna do is basically just do either pick'ems, just straight pick'em every fight, at least the fights that I'm interested in, or like do something very obvious, like for example, Chris Duncan and let's see, Felipe dos Santos, because I think I have very a lot of trust in Felipe dos Santos. So something like that. That's a little bit too less of a damager, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, and if it hits, it's obviously a good hit as well.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, if we take Felipe dos Santos and Chris Duncan plus 160, you're at plus 247. So you put 3 units on that, you're winning. Oh shoot, excuse me. You put 3 units on that, you're winning back 7.4 units. So I think that's pretty nice. Um, you don't have to go too crazy because if, like, for example, if you wanted to add, uh, who else did we agree on? Barcelos, you're at plus 445. So I think
And
you,
you're a degenerate.
yeah, I think you just do two-man parlays if you're gonna do parlays, or you just go straight pick 'em and see how the night ends for you. But anything you want to add on this Manuel Torres Chris Duncan fight?
Um, no, I think we all hit that one on the point. I think it's gonna go either one way or either one of the two ways. Either Torres is gonna do really good in that first round and then gas out, and then Duncan's gonna take over, or Torres flatlines him because of his sus chin. But I would rather put my money on the guy that's very durable, who's gonna stay in the fight always into the end, and not the guy who's gonna gas out. Because fighting's that one thing that if you gas out, you're in trouble. Like it's the one kind of sport that you have to manage that cardio. Like your cardio is one of the most important keys because once your cardio is gone, you're in huge trouble, and there's probably no worse feeling on earth than gassed out and having another guy come in full force ready to knock your head off.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that once your cardio gasses out, you're not breathing through your nose. You're breathing with your mouth wide open, which means you're more susceptible to get hit in the mouth. Way much easier for you to bleed and get some teeth knocked out. So all of that, with the altitude being a factor and all of that, I think I don't know what the point was, but I think I can back up Chris Duncan. That's what it was. Moving forward, we have Jasmine. I don't even know how to say her last name, to be honest. Jarigi? I don't know. Probably
That's what
butchered
I
that.
guess.
Yeah, against Sam Hughes. Pretty easy fight to call. Jasmine is a favorite for a reason. I think she's going to dominate this one. This is no good for Sam Hughes. Even though Sam Hughes has, proven herself in some other fights, but not in this one. I think Jasmine is the much bigger puncher, the bigger fighter, the much faster. Yeah, she got caught on her last time out against a very good Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes is pretty good in my opinion. Sam Hughes is not that. I will never forget Denise Gomes for losing to Angela Hill. That's one thing though. So there's that. But I think Jasmine takes her out. I just hope Sam Hughes lasts more than a round so I can bet Jasmine round 2, round 3. But I think she finishes her and gets her out of there. What do you think?
Yeah, so looking at Hughes, 3-2 in her last fight, she's gonna come forward, basically throw strikes and put pressure. I think she's also been working on wrestling in her recent fights, but if I'm being honest, none of that matters. I think Yasmin is very dangerous. She's gonna come forward. She has power in her hand. She's gonna attack from different angles and pretty good takedowns. Honestly, I think she's a promising fighter, and I think the UFC is smart in booking this matchup. I think this is one of those things that the UFC's in Mexico. They just built that new PI. They're trying to build more Mexican, Hispanic stars out there for them. So I think they kind of did their little booking where like let's make this a favorable matchup for her and try to build her up. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed. It's a fight. This could go the Mike Malott, Neil Magny way that I always refer to because broke my wallet. But anyways, I think this is Yasmin all day. Favorable matchup, UFC PI. So I think they're gonna crash into this new market, and this is how they start trying to build up some stars. So I think Yasmin's the pick all day. Like you said, probably round 2, round 3 better, but I think she's gonna win this all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, don't really have much else to add on this fight, but what about you? Any last comments?
Nah, that one's it's pretty straightforward. Yasmin has looked like the pick. Sam Hughes, pretty good fighter, but I think there's levels. And the way Yasmin looked, like you said, yeah, she got caught, but it's fighting. Everyone can get caught, and I don't think that's gonna deteriorate or hold her back. And I think she's gonna come in with the chip on her shoulder, especially with this fight being in Mexico. And I think she's gonna get it done.
Absolutely. Moving forward, we have one of your favorite fighters, Raul Rosas Jr. against Ricky Turcios. I can go ahead and break this one down. I think Turcios takes this one. To be honest, I like Ricky Turcios here a lot. Better cardio, much better fighter. He's fought the better people. I can see why a lot of people are really big on Raul Rosas Jr. just because he's 19 years old. Basically people think he has a big upside, But if you see his last two fights, I mean, Terrence Mitchell, we didn't really get to see much of Raul Rosas Jr. because he knocked out this Terrence Mitchell that fought in Alaska FC or whatever. And then the Christian Rodriguez fight where Raul Rosas Jr. basically got dominated, and it was not a good look for him. And that was at Miami, Florida. Being in altitude, they're gonna tell him to work to basically pace himself, but what can you really trust on a 19-year-old man? You have the big stage out there. He's probably gonna go out there looking hungry, trying to basically end this Ricky Turcios in one round. He has a home crowd behind his back, and if he does that, he's gonna gas out really bad. So I think Ricky Turcios should be able to take this one if he outlasts him for one round, and then he takes over. So my pick is Ricky Turcios on this one. What do you think?
Okay, so we already know that. I'm surprised you didn't pick your brother. But anyways, Meet Meet 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's coming off that win against Terrence Mitchell where he got the first round finish. Like you said, we didn't see a lot in that fight. That fight ended pretty quickly. We know who Raul Rosas Jr. is. Little bro is ugly, but we already know he's a nonstop grappler. He's only 19 years old, and I guess he has power in his hands. I can't tell you that off of that last performance. But his striking isn't the best. All we know is he's very fast and an athletic fighter, and 19 years old, and the UFC is trying to push this guy. Ricky, I like this guy. He's the winner of Tough. He's 2-1 since making it to the UFC. He's coming off that split win against Kevin, but he's gonna put a lot of pressure. He's gonna throw strikes from every angle. And when it comes to takedowns, he has great scrambles. Like if someone tries to take him down, he's gonna scramble. The only questions I think we have for this fight is the cardio for Raul Rosas. We already know who Ricky is. He's going to continue to work throughout the entire fight. Even when he gets taken down, he's going to work, work, and work. I don't know if we can trust Raul Rosas on this, especially you can't really judge anything and say he's improved, especially with the last fight, because that level of competition wasn't really up there. And finishing the fight in the first round in quick fashion doesn't really prove anything to me. We're going to be in Mexico. We're going to be at high elevation. He's going against someone like Ricky who's going to work throughout the fight and put it on him. So honestly, I think Ricky is a good dog, and I'm honestly going to take him in this fight. Honestly, if Raul Rosas has made the improvements that he needs to, he can win this fight. But I think I'm going to trust Ricky on this one and hope we see the downfall of Meat Meat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think very good noted that you said he has good scrambles. Ricky does. I've actually seen Ricky grapple like in real life because he's from the basically hometown here in Houston, and he's a pretty competent grappler. I mean, he trains with Alex Moreno here at the Gracie Baja Woodlands. That's what it is. That's what it's called. That's what Alex Moreno owns. And Alex Moreno is a legit black belt. I believe he's a third degree now. Very legit. I can't remember the lineage, but and Ricky Turcios is basically a student below him. So Ricky Turcios, I think he gets this one done. I think a lot of people are suspecting that Raul Rosas Jr. might be the better grappler here, which he might be. But I think Ricky Turcios is competent enough not to get not to get submitted. Excuse me, and gas him out because Raul Rosas Jr. From what I'm seeing, is he doesn't have a great gas tank, and I don't rate him that high either. Like people want to say that he's like a great prospect just because he's 19 and all, but I don't think he's that athletic. Honestly, like you see all his athletic features, Ricky Turcios has the bigger reach in this fight. They're both 5'8", but Ricky Turcios has 4 inches of reach on Raul Rosas Jr. So if you're telling me that Rosas Jr. is this physical specimen, physical monster, just gifted with big reach and unstoppable cardio, then sure I'll give it to you. But I don't see any of that. I don't see that he has. I don't. He doesn't have great hands. He's not a Golden Glove boxing winner. He he doesn't have a big reach. He doesn't have great cardio. I think the hype was that he was just the youngest Dana White Contender Series winner, and that's about it. And I think they pushed this guy way too fast. I mean, freak, they're giving him another pay per view spot, I believe. Correct? Is he opening the pay per view?
He's opening, but this isn't a pay per view, buddy.
Oh,
Fight
sorry,
night.
sorry, main card. I mean,
It feels like a pay per view though.
yeah, it does. Sorry, main card. They're giving him another spot in the main card. Uh, Yeah, I just think they're pushing this guy way too fast. I feel like he should have developed a little bit more, and maybe we could have seen a monster or could have seen a youngest champion. He's in a division that's extremely hard, bantamweight, and yeah, I think Rika Trusis takes this one. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and also like when we look at everything, if you look at Raul Rosas Jr.,
He's
yes,
ugly.
he's impressive for the fact. Yeah, that too. Well, that's a fact. We don't have to keep hitting him over the head like he looks like he has been. But besides massacring this guy on his looks, let's think about it. 19 years old, he made it to the UFC at a very young age. Yes, that's impressive. He's done what almost no one in the world can do. Very few could possibly ever do. That's very impressive. But let's look at the guy he's faced, the competition. Every single one of his wins since he's gotten here. What, Jay Perrin, Terrence Mitchell, Mondo Gutierrez on the Contender Series? None of these guys have won a fight inside the UFC. I don't think anybody's noticed that. But the one guy he did fight that has a couple wins, Christian Rodriguez, he beat him. This guy beat him. I was like, he hasn't faced anyone very high level that's gotten wins to honestly be a minus 240 favorite. I mean, yeah, he's good. He could possibly win this fight, but you can't tell me to lay all my chips on this guy and believe that he's that next guy up or that he's going to be the future champ because honestly, there's a lot of good guys and throwing him in the UFC like this and where do you match him up after this if he does win this fight? You're going to face him against higher level competition. I don't think he's that guy. Very good for his age, very promising prospect, maybe in the future, but I don't think he's worthy of opening up pay-per-views, fight nights. I think this guy should be a prelim fighter, but Dana White pushed this guy to the moon, and now this guy probably has to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, I mean, if you match him against other prospects, which I mean they already did, Christian Rodriguez dominated him. If you match him up against a Cameron Simon, I think Cameron Simon wins that. You match him up against our boy Isaac Bulgarian, I think Isaac Bulgarian wins that. If you match him up against maybe probably the most hated fight that I probably wouldn't even bet, Payne Talbot against Raul Rosas Jr. I think even Payne Talbot beats him, to be honest. And I know Payne Talbot has basically zero grappling, but I think he knocks him out and he gets him out of there. So I don't really rate Raul Rosas Jr. high. Does he have a lot of room for improvement because he's young? Yes, he does. Of course he does. He's only 19, but like I said, he doesn't stand out with his physical abilities. He doesn't have a massive reach. He doesn't have Marab cardio. He's not a great boxer. Yes, he's a good grappler, but I mean, Rodriguez held his own, and Rodriguez is not known to be like a great grappler either. Or like a fantastic like ADCC champ grappler. So
Exactly.
I don't know. Like they're rating this guy too high. They're pushing him too high, and it's just gonna it's gonna be another one of those videos that you see. It's like, oh, top 5 UFC busts, and then he's gonna be there with Sage Northcutt and Paige Van Zant and Raul Rosas Jr. It's gonna be the top 3. But yeah, we can move forward. I know we've been bashing on this kid for a while. Uh, moving forward, we
All
have
respect to the kid, he's done a lot. He's made it a name for himself, so I can't hate on the kid, but Jesus, he looks like a cartoon. But other than that, we'll go on to the next fight.
yeah, we have Daniel Selhuber against Francisco Prado. Again, two upcoming contenders, prospects. Daniel Selhuber has the 8-inch reach advantage. This is at altitude. Both have been training at altitude. I believe Francisco Prado trains at a gym that simulates 11,000 feet of elevation, which is crazy. But technology, man. Daniel Selhuber wants to be the next golden boy, basically. He loves striking with his opponents. He is scared of being grappled. I know he got a submission victory his last time out um, against Christos Giagos. I don't know. I'm not really too high on Daniel Selhuber. I think Francisco Prado is the better prospect, in my opinion. Francisco Prado, on the other hand, has really good hands or really strong. He's really huge power. Excuse me. He's the better grappler, of course. He's literally built like a pit bull. He's tough. If he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. But I think I'm gonna go with Francisco Prado. The line's just too wide for me to justify minus 275 on Daniel Selhuber. To be honest, what do you think?
Yeah, so when I was looking over at this fight, like you said, two prospects. Daniel Zellhuber, he's a striker. He's very long rangey. He has power in his hands and pretty solid takedown defense. But if he does get takedown, he's actively going to be hunting different ways to possibly get a submission. And Francisco Prado, 4-1 in his last five fights. Another striker, lots of power, gonna come in, throw lots of shots, even throw in head kicks in there. But he's very hittable. He can grapple as well, but I think he does kind of slow down when the fight continues. But like you said, he stimulates elevation, so I think he should be fine, especially in this fight. Um, when I was looking at this fight, I was like very kind of iffy on both sides. But honestly, I think Daniel is probably going to win this fight. I think he's just a more well-rounded fighter, and I think he's just going to be the favorite. I'm not looking to lay down any money. I think this is probably going to be a good fight. Could go either way, but I'm going to pick Daniel Zellhuber on this fight.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I mean, there's not really much else to say on this fight, to be honest. I like Prado, to be honest. I really do like Prado, just because he's just very, very stocky built, you know. And I think the takedowns are going to be there for for Prado to take Selhuber down and possibly ground and pound him and get him tired. But who knows? It's a fight. Anything can happen. Elevation sucks, but here we go. Anything else to add on this one?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think we all know where we're wanting to go, and that's what everybody's looking forward to is the co-main and the main events.
Yeah, absolutely. Co-main event time. We have Yair Rodriguez against Brian Ortega. This is a rematch. Oh man, I've gone back and forth between these two. Um, I like myself picking Yair Rodriguez. I was fine with that, and then I was like, but Brian Ortega, grappling, eagle motivation. I like him too. He's been gone for a while though, so we tend to fade those people that have been gone for a while. But I mean, we can take a look about what Ryan Rodriguez and his whole career in the UFC. Um, I think his Rodriguez's best win would probably have to be Emmett. Max Holloway kicked his ass. Volkanovski kicked his ass. Um, Emmett he beat, and then going before that, Jeremy Stevens. First fight, no contest because of like what was it, an eye poke? I think right, like 15 minutes
Yeah,
eye poke or some ridiculous
it
stuff.
was like 15 seconds.
Yeah. The Korean zombie match is one that I also look back all the time. He was losing that fight, and then he got a Hail Mary KO. So stuff like that happens. Where was that fight taking place in? Ball Arena. Oh, in Denver, Colorado, at the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. Okay. In altitude again. Yeah, I don't know. And then we have. And then he loses to Frankie Edgar. KO's BJ Penn, but BJ Penn, but at that time he was pretty
We're
much
going like 6 years ago, buddy.
yeah done. But yeah, I mean, I think he had like a very fraudulent run, to be honest, Jair Rodriguez, because like I said, his best win is to date is probably the Emmett win. Other than that, he got decimated by Holloway, got his ass kicked by Volkanovski, and then was losing the Korean zombie fight. And then the Jeremy Stevens fight, eye poke, no contest, and then the next fight was just kind of ass. So, and then Ortega on the other hand, um, he beat Korean Zombie, I think, pretty confidently. He submitted Moicano a long time ago. Holloway, he KOs Frankie Edgar. Holloway KOs him. Beats Korean Zombie. He had that head choke on Alexander Volkanovski. And I think that was a pretty good fight as well. He's very durable, in my opinion. Ortega can get a hit, can take a hit. Excuse me. And in the first fight between Yair Rodriguez, he was taking him down too, and then he landed awkwardly in his shoulder. So I think I'm gonna back Brian Ortega one last time. I think the grappling edge is huge. I think Yair Rodriguez is a little bit of a fraud. He had one of those Roman Dolidze runs, if that makes any sense, where I think I mean, you've seen Roman Dolidze's fighting record, right? Like all of those wins that he has
Yes.
been very, very, very sus, you know. And then he faces Marvin Vettori, loses, and then faces Imamov and loses as well. So, and I feel like that's Yair Rodriguez. I think Ortega submits him. To be honest, I think he takes him out of there. I think the grappling edge might be a little bit too big. And I know a lot of people say, well, Ortega doesn't train on altitude. I think he's fine. I think he's fine everywhere. I think he can take, excuse me, he can take a hit. Yeah, right. Rodriguez has those weird strikes, but Ortega should be able to take him down with ease and submit him. What do you think?
So first off, looking over at this fight, Ortega, this guy disgusts me at times. Probably just because he fights one time, then takes a year off, fights another, takes another year and a half off. I was like, I hate people like that. But other than that, we already know fantastic BJJ skills. He had former champ, and it pains me to say former, even though we all knew what was going to happen. Like we called it Topuria, new champion. But besides that fact, former champion Volk, he had him in a lot of trouble, especially in different times in that fight. I honestly thought he was going to get it done. But besides that, he was dominated. He has pretty decent striking on the feet. But looking over at Yair, in his last five fights, I think he's like 3-2 in his last five fights. Do either one of these guys deserve a title shot? If either one win, I say no. I don't think so. But Yair, very insane kicks, very athletic, such a fun striker to watch. I think people underrate his ground game, and he has had some submissions, but I don't think it's something elite level. But looking over at Ortega, I don't know. There's something about this guy I don't like anymore, especially when you take all that time off. I felt like he's wasted a lot of his good years. Do I think he's going to have trouble with the gas tank? No. He's shown to have good cardio. He can definitely take a beat, and he's taken plenty of those by Volk and Max. Beat him so bad he forgot that he had Tracy with him, but other guys' losses are other guys' wins. But besides that fight, like you said, Yair, it's kind of iffy with this guy. He did have a good fight with Max Holloway. He had his moments in that fight, and even in the Volk fight, I think he was starting to pick it up in that round, in that third round before that headbutt. I think that had something to do with him not taking time, getting back in, and getting cracked again and finish. I just think I'm gonna pick Yair probably because I think he's the better striker, more active. Also, already trains in Mexico, so I think he's well prepared and. I just don't like to pick a guy that's taken all this time off, hasn't showed me really much in the past few years, and honestly don't know if he even loves the fight game like that. So I think Yair's going to be motivated. It's going to be in Mexico. He's going to want to put that show-stopping crowd, and he has bad beef with Ilya, and I think he's wanting to get towards that and settle that. Do I think he's going to get that fight after this if he wins? Maybe. I hope not, because
I
he
think they
definitely
do.
doesn't deserve it. I think they probably do. I was like, probably, but does he deserve it? No. I was like, this record doesn't make sense. Ortega getting the fight doesn't make sense. But if you want to give a good fight for Ilya in Spain, I can't complain. Will I watch it? Yes. Will I be happy about it? Probably. Will I be somewhat upset? Sure. But I think Yair is gonna win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, the winner of this fights Tupuria. That's the UFC's not well known secret. Just because I mean, you see Holloway, he's gonna fight in UFC 300, so he's not gonna be ready. Volkanovski needs at least like 10 months off, to be honest, so he can get it right. And I mean, time is working against him too, so he's just gonna be older. But he's not gonna be ready for what UFC Spain probably in September, I would say, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and most Swar is not getting that fight.
yeah, and Evelev is not getting that fight. So I think the winner of these two, um, go and headlines UFC Spain. Does Dana White want Yair Rodriguez to do it? Of course, because of all the beef they have. But I don't know. I just think Ortega. Yes, Rodriguez has the striking, is better striker than Ortega, but Ortega is at least competent in striking, you know. And I think if he gets in trouble, he's gonna go ahead and shoot down for that takedown, and I don't think Jair Rodriguez can stop that. And yeah, he's just gonna submit him because Ortega's legit. He's a legit BJJ practitioner, and
Yes.
Yair Rodriguez is not. So that's my pick. I think Ortega wins this one. If he dies, he dies. It is what it is. But it's a lot of underdog or pass for me here, just because most of these fighters are either frauds or we haven't seen that much of them. Not saying that we haven't seen that much of Yair Rodriguez, but I just think he's kind of gone on a fraudulent run. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. But anything to add on the co-main event before we move to the main event?
The only thing that I can say is if it does get down to the ground, Ortega definitely has a huge advantage, and he definitely can get that submission. But the thing is, Ortega's not the most dominant when taking people down. Do I think he probably takes a year down in this fight? I think he probably gets maybe a takedown or two, but do I think he's going to submit him? I would hope not. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he'll probably stay on the feet for the most part, and I think Yair's just been more active. I just got to see how Ortega comes back from into this fight. It's been so long. I feel like he could either come back super improved or he could be a bum. I think it's either one of those. But I think I'll rather lay my chips on Yair. And if Yair does get this done, fights Taporia as much as he doesn't deserve it, I think that Spain versus Mexico matchup in Spain is going to bring tons of eyes to the community. I think that's going to tap in huge in that Hispanic, Latin culture and all that. Everyone's going to tune into that fight. That fight is going to be it's going to be a show burner, and I'm pretty sure Dana White will stack it from top to bottom. And honestly, I would look forward to that, but I just think Yair is going to be my pick for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving forward, we have the main event: Brandon versus Brandon, or as people know, Raw Dog versus Lego Boy. In this fight, I
The
think I'm.
baby face assassin.
Yeah, the baby assassin. You mean Lego Boy? In this
I
fight,
didn't say Lego.
I think I'm gonna pick.
Rocket Man.
I think I'm gonna pick Lego Boy in this fight, just because he's the better minute winner. He is good all around. I'd pick Royval if he wasn't coming in on short notice. Yes, the pressure's on Brandon Moreno, but I just think he takes this one just because it's not short notice for Moreno, but it is short notice for Royval. Royval should be in great shape though. He does train in altitude, so his gas tank should be fine here. This one is gonna be a banger. To be honest, I don't think any of them are gonna take each other out. I think it might last the full 5 rounds. Who knows? But I think I got Brandon Moreno winning this one. To be honest, and that's all I have. What do you think?
Hey man, all I'm saying is don't count that boy Raw Dog out. You saw how he was biting his lip at Sanko that one time. I mean, he does have that dog in him, but I was like, stay away from my girl. Anyways, three into his last five fights, both of his losses against the champ Pantoja, put up a very good fight. I thought just couldn't do nothing on the ground with them. We already know who Royval is. Very exciting, striking. He's dangerous, powerful, and he's gonna look for the finish throughout the entire fight. Moreno, aka Lego Boy, we already know constant fighting, hot potatoing with the championship belt. Pantoja's son. I mean, a challenger to Pantoja. He's very well rounded. His wrestling is great. His grappling is very good, and I like his striking. He's just overall an enjoyable fighter, and he's a dog too. He's gonna put a crazy pace, and we've seen he has an incredible chin. Do I think Royval is going to crack him and put him out and end that chin? Yes. I think, no, I'm just kidding. He's not doing that. Come on, man. It's short notice. Royval was probably chilling, thinking he was going to get paid a fat check to not even fight. Fight gets dropped. He's up next, and I think he's going to put on a great fight, but I think Moreno's obviously the pick. I don't like short notice fights like that, especially when a guy is as game as Moreno and has so much pride in him. So I think Moreno wins his fight. Please don't. If he fights Pantoja again, I'm okay with that. I like that fight, but I want new contenders in there. So if they have him fight another guy before he can get to the strap, I'm cool with that. But I think Moreno is the pick, and I think we're gonna be an exciting fight. I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, this is mainly a card full of lower weight classes, so it's going to be very technical, very striking is going to be amazing. The grappling exchanges, like, overall, it's going to be what mixed martial arts is. It's going to be skill for skill, not just brunt group overpowering and using these weight edges. I think it's going to be skill for skill in a lot of these fights. I'm excited for it, but Moreno's going to be my pick.
Yeah, it should be very action packed. I mean, it's only what it's lightweight and below on this card. No
Yeah.
welterweights, no heavyweights. Only one woman fight. Thank God.
Featherweights. Oh
uh,
wait, featherweights, lightweights. There's no welterweights, right?
no, no welter. It's lightweight and below. No welterweights and no. So nothing above welterweight. No, nothing above lightweight. Excuse me. So
They said no fat girls coming in here.
yeah, no fat girls allowed. But yeah. To recap, um, I think in the first match we both have Naimov, right? Is that correct?
Mhm.
Second fight we both have Dos Santos. Third fight we both have. What do you have? Third fight? I don't know.
Then we have
Rodriguez.
do we have yeah.
Yes. Yes, I believe so. We said
I had
Bondar's
Ronaldo. That's all I got.
kind of sus. We said Bondar is a little bit of a
And
fraud.
then yes, and
Then
then
I had Claudio Puelles. You had Fares Siam. Um,
mhm.
we both had. Did we both have Edgar Charis? Except I'm gonna bet De Silva for.
we we both had Edgar Chairez. You had him, and I was sticking with my original pick when the first fight
Uh
happened.
huh.
But we both agreed we're probably gonna put some money down on Daniel Lacerda.
Yeah, because we're degenerates. Okay.
Yes,
I had Jesus Aguilar. You had Mateus Mendoca. Or was that it?
yes,
Okay, cool. We both have Raoni Barcelos, old man Barcelos. One more time, baby, bring it in.
yes,
We both have Chris Duncan. We both
yes.
had Jasmine Jaurigi. We both have
Yeah, that was a lot.
yeah. We both have Ricky Turcios. Uh, I believe I had Prado. You had Selhuber.
Yes.
I had Ortega. You had Rodriguez. And
Mhm.
we both have Moreno. So there's a couple fights we disagree. Ortega, Selhuber, uh, uh, Aguilar, Mendoca, and that's it, right? Is that?
Yeah, that looks
Oh,
like
and then
it's all of
Claudio
them.
Puelles. It's four fights. Four fights we
Yeah.
disagree.
Sure.
Sheesh. So either one man is gonna come out very rich, and one man's gonna come out very poor in this fight, or in this fight card, or we're both just gonna
Oh, we
miss.
come out even.
Yeah. Oh man. But anywho,
It's gonna be a fight.
to give out a winning parlay, I am here. Let's see. You go ahead and make out your parlay.
Hold on, I'm cooking something right now. What do you got so far?
I have a three-legger for all of y'all that are listening. Felipe Dos Santos, Jesus Aguilar, Brandon Moreno, plus 256. Not my greatest parlay, to be honest. Pretty solid, though. 5 units wins you 12.7 units. So, yeah, that's my parlay.
Okay, so looking over for my parlay, let's see how this is gonna go. This one, okay, we got that. That's kind of degenerate. Okay, I think I got. Oh shoot. Okay, this one's not going to be something huge. You're not going to win a whale off of it, but you are going to get plus money. I think if you want to ride this one, it's a three-legger. Yasmin, Daniel Zellhuber, and Brandon Moreno plus 110. So I think those are pretty good odds. I think it's more likely to hit. I think the one you're going to probably sweat is that Daniel Zellhuber. But overall, pretty good odds, plus 110. I can't complain. Plus money. I'll take it any day.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Other things that I might consider doing was Jesus Aguilar round two, round three for all of you out there. Turcio's money line, maybe round two, round three, if I'm being a degenerate, to be honest. Plus 1600, plus 2500. That's not too bad. Because Raul Rosas Jr. might die in there. So, and then I might consider doing Jasmine round two, round three as well, just because I think Sam Hughes is capable enough to survive one round, and then she dies. Um,
And also, I got one more. If you want to play something that's not something crazy, you just want a two leg that has possibly good chances to hit, you could honestly do Felipe Dos Santos and Ricky for plus 293.
Yeah, or yeah, that's pretty solid. Even if you just wanted to play a little bit safe, like if you do Felipe Dos Santos, Moreno, and I think you did Jasmine, didn't you? No, you didn't do Jasmine. But yeah, even if you wanted to play really safe, Moreno, Jasmine, and Felipe Dos Santos plus 105, not too bad. That's basically a lot of the big favorites in that fight. Um, don't really. I mean, yes, I know Jasmine's gonna win, but I don't really recommend really adding a minus 650 because sometimes it could go wrong. But that is a more feasible or more safe parlay, if you say, you know.
Something that's probably going to give you a good ride, most likely going to hit, but just don't throw your whole bankroll at it, if I'm being honest.
Exactly. And then for, I mean, if you wanted to go just pure underdogs, you'd go for me, of course, Puelles, Aguilar, and Turcios. Three-legger parlay plus 1,400. Yeah, that one's kind of crazy, but like I said, it's
Mega whale alert.
whale alert for sure. And even if you wanted to add Ortega in there too, yeah, that's right there. It's crazy. Plus 3,000. uh, but who knows? I mean, it's they say at least 30% of underdogs win every fight card. Yes, I know last fight card was an what's it called?
The
Abdominal. Yeah, there we go.
anomaly.
Anomaly. Yeah. Where basically all the favorites won except for the main event, and we were doing good. So yeah. So like I said, it could happen. It cannot. I don't having the altitude that high is gonna guarantee you that some underdogs win, especially those big heavy punch underdogs that only need one punch to land flush, like a Francisco Prado or a Chris Duncan, or who else is a big puncher in this, or yeah, who else is a big puncher in this? Yeah, that's about
Uh,
it that I would back up.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
like a Chris Duncan or a Francisco Prado, or even a I wouldn't call a Rodriguez underdog, but because he's not. But yeah, so stuff like that, or yeah, or Jesus Aguilar too, who punches pretty fucking hard too. Just considering altitude and all that, one of them is bound to win. To be honest, I'm gonna be very surprised if one of them does it. That means all favorites won again, but I think it's a very good card to make some money. Like I said, I don't think it's a card where you can parlay 4, 5, or 6 people like you can in some other cards. Not this one. I think you at most three, and that's being very risky. Two would probably be safer. At least one sizable underdog, like a plus 160, plus 195. Don't go too crazy and be adding like Eric Silva at plus 400. Just add someone that's at plus 100, plus 120, and then add someone that's at like minus 300 or minus 250. And I think you have a good recipe for a parlay, in my opinion.
I think so. And also to shout out one fool out there that is ridiculous. Johnny Eblin, you are in the hot seat. Spending 80K on an OnlyFans model, you are getting your butt whooped by CTE as we speak. The head trauma is real, and you just proved it. Boy, you are a fool. And also, PFL, congratulations on your horrible advertisement of this Champions card that's supposed to be your Super Bowl. You have dropped the ball officially again. If you need someone to take it over, me and my boy Fobs are call our hotline. You already know. We will gladly run you better than you have been. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, even if you partake, if you're a degenerate like me and partake in PFL, there is some good. I'm only looking at one fight only, to be honest, because everything over there is very lopsided. Uh, Even if you wanted to add a Renan Ferreira, which I think will win, and I think he'll knock out Ryan Bader, to be honest. So even if you wanted to add Renan Ferreira to a UFC parlay, which is he's at minus 136. So even if you add him with a Brandon Moreno, that's plus 131, and you add maybe um, Felipe Dos Santos, you're at plus 208. So yeah, you can also add Renan Ferreira there. That's one of my more confident picks as well for PFL. Don't really watch PFL. I mean, I do. I'm not gonna lie, I do, but I don't. I don't tape PFL if that makes sense. I'm not watching regionals from these bums. Uh, just UFC talent. But if you wanted to add Renan Ferreira minus 136, I think that's crazy value. Ryan Bader looked really bad. He looked like he's 55. He looked like someone's father out there. And Renan Ferreira looked like a monster, man. He looked like he was 7'5", and Bader was 5'8". So I think Renan
Hey,
Ferreira.
Vader is 40 years old as well.
Yeah, how old is Bader? Like 50?
40, but you're pretty close.
40, but really he's 50, if that makes any sense. And Ferreira, how old is Ferreira?
34.
Yeah, and he's just massive, man. So I'm really looking forward to a Francis Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira. I think, it'll be a good matchup. I think Ngannou wins regardless, but I'm not really looking forward if Bader wins. I don't think Bader is gonna win this one. I think Ferreira knocks him out. I think he finds the chin. He has incredible power. Only one thing to worry about is the takedowns from Ryan Bader, but I don't think Bader is gonna be able to get him. To be honest.
But honestly, even a Ferreira Francis Ngannou fight, it doesn't fill my MMA satisfaction. I'm so sad. I will always be sad that my boy Dana wasn't able to sign Ngannou back to the UFC because honestly, I would rather see Ngannou, Aspinall, Ngannou, Sergey Pavlovich, Ngannou. So many good fights at heavyweight that I would love to see, but those days are gone. So let's just enjoy his boxing career because honestly, a Ferreira Ngannou fight isn't going to be the greatest thing in the world. Will I watch it? Yes. Will I support Ngannou? Hell yeah. I will always support that guy. Just sad we couldn't have him back in the UFC.
Yeah, and a really underrated fight in the PFL will have to be the Thiago Santos Yoel Romero battle of the grandpas as well. Both of them are really old. I think Romero takes this one, to be honest. I just think he's the better athlete. Yeah, he's like 55 as well, but he's 55 in
Those
Cuban
genetics.
years. He's 55 in Cuban years, which basically means he's 30. Uh, or 35 at the most. But I just think Joel Romero should win that one. I haven't really watched. I mean, we both know who Romero is and who Thiago Santos is. Like, we both know. I think Thiago Santos is a little bit past his prime, man. Probably should call it a career. I don't think his knees are there, to be honest. And I think Joel Romero is the more fresher fighter. So even if you wanted to just do a whole PFL parlay, Romero and Ferreira plus 218, not bad to win some money before the UFC Noche de Mexico or UFC Mexico, however you want to say it.
Exciting card, man. Exciting times.
I
And
know.
also, one last announcement to every single one of you that are listening. If you have a problem losing all your money, your house is finna go down, you're finna get divorced, lose your dog, anything.
You put
You
more
have a
money down
gambling
because you
addiction.
don't quit betting. I'm
Hell
kidding.
no, don't listen to this degenerate. Don't listen. This is adult talk, serious talk. There is a gambling hotline available nationwide. Help is available 1-800-662-4357. 24 hours a day. We'll keep you 100% anonymous. They're there to help. This is all in the grade of fun. And yes, we try to win money. Yes, we put down money, but do not put more than you can lose. We don't want to hear you calling, messaging us, talking about, I lost my house, my wife, and my kids because of you, because we didn't. So be responsible, enjoy the fights, and we're in a treat. This feels like a pay per view, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. I'm excited as well. Guys, make sure to follow us on X at FTC Fobs. Follow my boy Ed at FTC Ed1. And yeah, I mean, reach out to us, talk to us about UFC, talk about PFL. We don't care. Just talk to us about MMA, to be honest. We love mixed martial arts. We do this for fun. This isn't our full-time job yet. Let's put that out there. We're
Yeah.
manifesting yet. Hopefully, we can make it our
Yes.
full-time job and we can quit our 9 to 5s. But as of right now, we are doing this for fun. We don't even get any. I think we only get like what 15 to 20 views. So we're doing this just for.
No, they don't know that.
I mean, we gotta be honest with them. We're doing this for the
Yeah.
long run, to be honest, and we do it for fun because we love getting on here, discussing, talking in the mic. Even my boy, yeah, he lives like 4 hours away from me, so we always try to catch the next not PFL, the next UFC event, of course. We might go to a PFL event, but that's still to be decided because that card kind of sucks, to be honest.
We're itching, Dana. Please bring the UFC back to Texas, because if not, we're gonna be struggling. I swear we'll struggle if not.
Dana,
I
we're
swear
even
you're cracking the
contemplating
whip.
watching PFL. Like that's how bad it is right now. That's how bad we're
Yes,
itching.
give me a Holly Holmes main event.
That's
I
all I
need
need.
it.
That's all I need. That's all I need. But yeah,
But
any
but when we do go again, we'll document it all. We'll take videos, and it's like we're gonna bring y'all along with us. We'll plan it out better, and hopefully we can meet some people while we're there. We're always ready for everything. But until that next one gets announced, we will be waiting in line for those tickets, and we will be at the next UFC in Texas again.
absolutely, absolutely. But for now, we're gonna probably gonna have to watch soccer live or PFL live. So, in order to satisfy our itch. Anywho, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you are betting tomorrow, best of luck. Best of luck to everyone betting. Like my boy said, don't bet too much. Don't bet what you can't lose. Bet only what you can lose. Have a good time. Enjoy the fights. And yeah, that's it from me. Do you have anything else to say?
Love you guys. We're glad y'all can be a part of this journey. It's only a start. And like when you start at the bottom of the hill, the only way place to go is up, and that's where we're going this year. And I'm just looking forward to it. Hope everyone enjoys the fights. We love you all. See you later.
Peace. All right, welcome guys. Welcome back to 4D Casual MMA Betting Show. We are breaking down today UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Royval number 2. My name is Fobs. I'm with my co-host Ed. He is right here. But yeah, I mean, we were just talking before we started this. We were talking about last week's fights, UFC 298. We did pretty good, except for like two fights for me, one fight for Ed. But overall, it was a pretty good experience. And yeah, we're just talking. This card is gonna be really weird because I feel like some people are way overpriced, and then it just doesn't make sense. If I'm being honest, right? You would think.
It's definitely going to be one of those cards where either we're going to look like geniuses, win a lot of money, or it's going to be one of those by the end of the main event, we're just asking for it to be over. But regardless, it's going to be a good card. All the fights, a ton of them look exciting. And honestly, it gives me that pay per view feeling vibes like I did last week. Not as big, but very looking solid as a card overall.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So to get started, we are gonna go with Eric Silva against Muhammad Naimov. I can get started. Naimov should be fine here, just because Eric Silva is a little bit older. Naimov does train in elevation. Uh, he what else? He's a good grappler. Well, I wouldn't say he's a good grappler. He's an okay grappler because I mean he was out grappling Nathaniel Wood, but again, Nathaniel Wood is not the biggest 145, or if anything, he should be bantamweight forever. But that fight kind of raised some question marks for me. I'm not looking to lay down minus 550 on Naimov, to be honest, and I'm not looking to gamble on a 37-year-old Eric Silva. I think Eric Silva is capable enough to make this fight go the distance. So for my first pick, on this fight I'll probably end up betting fight goes the distance at plus 155. I think that's very very doable because, like I said, Naimov was out grappling Nathaniel Wood, but Nathaniel Wood is no Eric Silva. Nathaniel Wood's way smaller. I don't think Naimov could out grapple Eric Silva and get him out of there. So I'm gonna go with fight goes the distance. What do you think?
Yeah, so when I was looking at this fight, like you said, Naimov, he did good against Nathaniel Wood, but like you said, Nathaniel Wood isn't known for his clinch game or overall just grappling. He did good on the feet. I think both of them rocked each other in that fight as well, and I thought that fight was very close. I think if the referee calls a foul, those fouls on Naimov, that fight either goes to a draw or Nathaniel Wood gets that win. Probably just me being biased because I had Nathaniel Wood picking that. But I like Naimov. I think his striking is pretty solid, and he can use his takedowns. I don't know how impressive they'd be against a real grappler, but I think he's going to be the pick. But Silva, he's pretty good. I like him. He's an aggressive grappler. He's going to come forward, throw some big shots, and try to get it to the ground. But I think overall, Naimov is the pick. I think he's just had the harder competition, kind of the better, looked more impressive, and I think he's going to get this fight done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just to me, it's like the line doesn't make sense. Minus 550. You're basically telling me that Naimov is like Adesanya or John Jones level worthy, to be lining him up at minus 550. Doesn't make sense. I think the fight goes the distance. I think Eric Silva is capable enough to survive all 3 rounds. And I don't think he's going to get submitted or KO'd in this fight. So I think that's my pick or my bet on that one at least. Next fight, we got Victor
Oh wait,
Altamir.
one more thing on that.
Yeah, yeah, go
The
ahead.
line has shifted so much on that fight. I think it was like it started off at like a minus 300 or minus 330 somewhere around there, and it's jumped to like a minus 500, which is insane.
Yeah, dude.
So I was just keeping note about that. I mean, if you would have placed this bet when the lights came out, you probably would have got more bang for your buck. But at a minus 500, it's kind of an unjustifiable price. Like you said, take fight that goes the distance at plus money.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, the thing is, a lot of people are going to be parlaying Naimov, but what if Eric Silva lands a big bomb? Eric Silva, like I said, Eric Silva, I believe, in my opinion, is way stronger than Nathaniel Wood. So, like, if he lands one, maybe what if he knocks him out, or what if he puts him unconscious, and then your parlay's busted? So, I don't really recommend, unless you know for certain that they're gonna win. But we have cases like Adesanya versus Strickland, where Strickland was, excuse me, Adesanya was a big favorite like this as well, and you know what happened. So there goes your parlay. Never do that. Minus 550, you're asking for trouble,
And
because
that
again,
damn Neil Magny.
exactly, it's a fight, and everyone has a chance to win, whether it be a puncher's chance or not, but everyone has a chance to win. So minus 550, yeah, get me out of here. I don't want any of that. Next fight, we have Victor Altim. Go ahead. Oh,
Oh,
nothing.
I didn't say nothing.
Okay, cool, cool. We have Victor Altamirano against Felipe dos Santos. I can go ahead and break this one down as well. I like dos Santos. I think he's great. He has strong power. I think he finishes Victor Altamirano. Victor Altamirano only has good cardio, but other than that, I think he's pretty bad everywhere else. I think Felipe dos Santos should get it done here. I like the finish here, and I do think coming out of the shoot box camp, those people are notorious for having, unlimited cardio. This is at an elevation, so let's take into effect that. But I think Felipe dos Santos and his vitamins take Victor Altamirano out of here. I think he finishes him. So I'm looking to lay at probably Felipe dos Santos inside the distance. I also like the under 2.5. I think he gets it done under 2.5 rounds. So, or either way, if I think the fight finishes under 2.5, so that's a plus 185 as well. What do you think?
Yeah, so when I was looking over at this fight, Victor obviously he has some power in his hands. He's very fast, and he'll pressure takedown. His takedown defense is solid. If he's taken down, he's going to create scrambles and he's going to look for submissions. But Felipe dos Santos, I like this guy. He spells Chute box. A guy that's going to stand and bang. He has good BJJ, good takedown defense, and he made a fan out of me, especially in his debut against Manel. Can't make weight cop, but this kid's impressive. He's very aggressive. He's dangerous. He looks pretty well rounded. The only thing I don't like about him and most of these Chute box guys is that they're very hittable, especially to counters. But I think the pick is definitely Felipe Dos Santos. I think he's the more well rounded fighter. I think he's the more dangerous fighter. The only thing that worries me is probably the elevation and them not being out there for a while. But, those vitamins probably take care of that. And like you said, him to win inside the distance or to win by KO look like great money, and you probably get great value for that. But I think Felipe Dos Santos is a star. I think he could probably come in this division. You could match him up with top 15 guys like he did against Manel Kopp and went out there and held his own basically throughout the whole fight. So I like this guy, and I think he's definitely the pick on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note about that Mano Cap Felipe dos Santos fight was that the pace was incredible. They threw a bunch. They stand and bang, and I honestly think Mano Cap is probably the strongest or hardest hitter in that weight class, flyweight. Apart from the champion, probably Pantoja, but I think he hits hard, and Felipe dos Santos, he took it. He didn't shy away, and he didn't get finished either. It went to a decision. So I think Felipe dos Santos should be well. Obviously, he's the favorite, but I think he gets Victor Altamirano out of there. Doesn't need the judges to decide this one. To be honest, I think the pace that they're gonna push in this fight is gonna be tremendous. Where one of them is gonna get knocked out, and I'm gonna be picking Felipe dos Santos.
Yeah, definitely. If it comes down to who's gonna be the one to get finished, I'm definitely gonna ride on Felipe Dos Santos standing tall at the end of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, moving forward, we'd have Luis Rodriguez against Dennis Bondar. You can go ahead and break this one down.
Tell me why I put down Ronaldo Rodriguez. I was like, who the heck is Ronaldo Rodriguez? But
Contender,
anyways,
contender.
uh, I was like, okay. So Rodriguez, we all know he's on a five-fight winning streak. Mainly a striker. He has power in his hands. Usually he's gonna stay patient when he's on the feet. Has a solid chin. The only thing I don't like, also very hittable, but his takedown is very decent and also has decent BJJ. Dennis, he's 2-3 in his last fights. I think five fights. I don't think he's had a win since coming to the UFC, if I'm correct. But he's going to go forward, throw big punches, probably go for takedowns and look for some submissions. But honestly, I just think Luis Rodriguez is the better striker. And basically, if he keeps it on the feet, I'll take him in that situation. Not a very high confident pick, but I would take Rodriguez on this one. I don't know if I'd lay any money on him, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, Bondar has finished all his opponents, or at least mostly all of them, I believe. And but the level of competition is not there for me. Luis Rodriguez, on the other hand, I believe he's too hittable. So this is kind of a fight that I'll probably put does not go the distance. I bet that's what is that at? Fight doesn't go the distance. Where is that at? Does
Mm,
it? Do they even have that? I don't think they even have that.
I don't know.
No, they don't. All right, weird. But anywho, fight doesn't go the distance is probably what I would bet if I had it. Apparently, I don't. So there's that. But I think, like you said, I think Rodriguez could get him out of there. The only thing, like I said, the only thing that worries me is that he's very hittable. But I think he is the better talent overall between these two. For some reason, Dennis Bondar for me seems like he's a bit of a fraud. And props to him. If he gets Luis Rodriguez out of here and he wins, then he's not a fraud. But if he doesn't, then he's total fraud and looking to always fade this guy. So yeah, that's I'm gonna go with Rodriguez as well as you. But yeah, we can go ahead and move forward, unless you have something else to add.
No, I'm ready for the next one. I have a rant to go on this one.
Oh Jesus! All right, take it away.
All right, so we got Claudio Puelles versus how do you say this dude? Faris Zam.
Fares Ziam.
Uh, yeah, Faris Zam. Anyway, Claudio Puelles, he's 4-1 in his last five fights. Honestly, we haven't seen this guy since that Dan Hooker fight back in November 2022. And I'm being honest, if I was Dana White, I'm cutting that bum. I hate these guys that lay on the ground, butt scoot their way, just shoot for heel hooks, like we saw last week in the the Rinne Nakamura fight. Like, I hate these guys. Like, this is not 1998 or 1999 when the sport was just coming in. There's no more of this just one dimensional fighter. But overall, we know he's a great grappler, very dangerous on the ground, but he's definitely not looking to strike with his opponents. If the fight is standing, he just wants to get it down and get that submission. But he's taking up Faris Zam. This guy's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's currently on a 2-fight win streak. His last win was that unanimous decision win over Jai Herbert. He's primarily a striker. He's going to use that range and throw leg kicks and eventually look for a clinch where he'll also throw some good strikes. But I think Faris is going to be the pick. I think he's going to be very patient, very smart. Use that range and keep Claudio Puelles out of there and avoid being put in those dangerous submissions. So that's my pick. And if I see any of this butt scooping stuff, I'm gonna call my boy Dana White up and I'm gonna send this guy back to the farm he came from.
All right. Claudio Puelles against Parisium. We know who Claudio Puelles is. Very good grappler. One thing to note, he has been doing camp with Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is a beast. They've been working on striking. Parisium, on the other hand, good striker. Not Dan level hooker worthy striker though. Let's put that out there. And his grappling is kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie. We're not gonna sugarcoat it here. To be honest, I think in my opinion, Claudio plays round 1 or 2 or bust. If it gets extended, Farasiam will take over. But I just think that, I mean, Claudio Puelles did take down Dan Hooker, and he did have him in some compromising situations. But it's Dan Hooker. He loves pain, so it didn't really affect him. I think if Claudio Puelles can get his hands on Farasiam, I think he submits him pretty quickly. I'm gonna go with Claudio Puelles. I'm gonna go and roll the dice on this one, just for shits and gigs, honestly. Plus 170. Claudio Puelles by submission is at plus 350. I think that's pretty insane, to be honest, because I think that's his only way. Like, I wouldn't say his only way, but I think that's mostly his ways of winning is by submission because he is the better grappler. He's actually a legit grappler. Like, it ain't no joke, you know? So. I think Claudio Puelles should be able to win this one, in my opinion. I just think that Farasiam doesn't have the grappling needed to defend those takedowns. I think we're going to see Claudio Puelles mix it in well and go for the takedowns and wrestle his way to victory, at least on this one, or submit him. Did I surprise you?
No, actually, no. I kind of assumed biasness would be no. I'm just kidding. Actually, he's not a bum. That last performance just put a stain in my mouth because it was so disgusting to watch.
Yeah.
But honestly, like you said, a legit grappler. I mean, if you can grab all those submissions, what is it? He has like
He has like four
two knee
heel hooks.
bars.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like three or something knee bars or some shit in his career.
Yeah.
Like that dude's an insane grappler. So honestly, I can see why he would be your pick. I just think Faris probably keeps him at bay, and it's not like he's some legit guy either. In his last fight, it wasn't the most impressive, but I think he probably extends this out to like a boring point fighting kind of fight and he gets a decision win. I don't think he's going to finish him or anything like that, but I just don't think Claudio Puez is going to get the submission. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think that's probably his only way to win. And honestly, I just don't like putting all my chips on one basket unless it's like certain fighters, but honestly, I think that'd be a good fight and good we finally got our first matchup against each other in this fight card, so that's also exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I go back to the Terrence McKinney fight for ECM. When was that fight? In 2022, right? Yes, 2022 February. Terrence McKinney like took him down with ease, submitted him, and I don't really rate Terrence McKinney to be a better grappler than Claudio Puelles, to be honest. I know Terrence McKinney did some wrestling in high school, I believe, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're correct.
yeah, and then Terrence McKinney has a reach of 73 and a half, while Claudio Puelles has 72 inches in reach and Fares CM has 75 inches. So, like, the reach advantage, like, if you were to tell me, like, Fares CM had 80 inches in reach and then Claudio Puelles had 70 and it was, like, 6 inches or more, I'd be kind of concerned. But with Terrence McKinney, having a smaller reach, and 1.5 inch reach disadvantage, and he still got the job done. I think Claudio Puelles can do that as well. But I mean, like I said, style makes fight, and McKinney is a better striker than Puelles by far. So who knows? We could see a very new and improved Claudio Puelles because he hasn't fought all last year as well. So he's been working a lot. I've seen him working with Diego Lopez, and I think he might take this one. So I'm just gonna roll the dice on this one. But next, moving forward, I believe we have your main event. You're very excited about this one
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
The fight that's been
Cut them
cursed.
both. Cut them both.
Cut them both. We have Edgar Chairez against Daniel De Silva. I really don't like this fight. This fight's been canceled like once, I believe, and then it got booked.
No contest.
No contest, and then it got pushed back like a couple of times, and now we're here, and now Daniel De Silva or Daniel Silva, however you want to say it, misses weight by 1 pound. Edgar Chairez comes in fat from eating too many tacos. Misses weight by 5 pounds. This is just disgusting. Uh, but yeah, I think Daniel Lacerda is the better grappler. He just has no gas tank. Edgar Chairez at minus 450. That's kind of insane as well. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, I don't think Edgar Chairez should be this big of a favorite. It should be closer to a pick'em. Yes, I know they fought before, but this is at altitude too, so both men will suffer, especially coming in fat, Edgar Chairez. So I don't know. I think I might have to pass on this one. I don't really want to fight. I don't really want to bet nor even pick, to be honest, because if I had to pick someone, I'd go Edgar Chairez just because he's basically already beaten him. But if I were to bet like a degenerate, I'll probably do like Daniel De Silva money line and just sit back and watch. Just because at plus 350, you guys have to like realize something. Like, if it was like a proven contender or a proven UFC star, then sure, like that's justifiable. But whenever it's like just people like this that have only had one fight in the UFC, we play numbers over here, so plus 350, I think that's pretty good spot. Just to see Daniel Silva or Lacerda just die in one round, or he might even submit him. I think that, like I said, Daniel Lacerda is the better grappler than Edgar Chairez. Chairez is the better kickboxer or striker, but he doesn't really have a reach advantage over him, over one inch only. So it's not like he's gonna outpoint him and outpick him apart from afar. And who knows? Maybe the Chute Box team finally got the right vitamins for Daniel Lacerda. So we might see a new Daniel Lacerda. Wouldn't that be fucking insane if he comes out there and just pushes the pace on this motherfucker?
I swear I would die if that happened.
he goes on like a 5 run win streak after this. I mean, every fight that Daniel Lacerda has fought, like he's been there the first round. We go back to the Vergara fight. Yes, he got knocked out in round 2, but round 1 looked kind of sus. He took down the fraud Figueiredo brother as well, and it looked kind of sus as well. Like Lacerda was gonna win, but again, then he ended up getting reversed, and it was like ridiculous. Altamirano fight, don't really remember that fight, and then the Molina fight, round 1 as well. He had him on top, or he took him down as well. He's just been close in the first round, and I'm willing to bet that. So yeah, that's Edgar Chairez should win this one, but I'm just gonna pick Daniel Silva for betting purposes, of course. What do you have?
Okay, so when this fight first occurred and everything happened, I'm such a degenerate. I had Edgar Chairez in a parlay. I can't remember what the rest of it was, but I remember that whole thing. Honestly, both of these guys probably should be cut. If I'm being honest, both of them came in fat, and I'm just disgusted with both of these guys, honestly. But like you said, Daniel Lacerdo, honestly, he's 4-0-4-1 in his last 5 fights, but that really doesn't tell the whole story. Like you said, he's had his moments in each one of those fights. And if we go back to the first fight between those guys, throughout that whole first round, I had Daniel Lacerda winning that fight pretty easily. I was
Yes,
watching my money slip away
dude.
from my account right there. I was slowly watching this, thinking, "Oh my goodness, this guy's supposed to be better on the feet, and he looks like a bum compared to him." So I honestly have been conflicted with this fight. I've been looking at it. I think if he didn't catch him in that submission anyways, I think Lacerda probably wins that fight. Um I'll ride with Edgar Chairez just because I picked him the first time, and I'll back up my fighter, even though this guy's disgusting. Came in fat for picking purposes. I'll pick him. Probably wasn't the best place to have it in Mexico. You know, like you said, eating too many tacos. Got too comfortable at home. But honestly, I might be a degenerate, and I might lay some money down on Daniel Lacerda. I was like, he was winning that first fight. If he doesn't get caught, I'm pretty sure he wins that fight. He looked very confident in there. And like you said, at that money, how can you shy away from that? I mean, at plus 350, I could lay down a little bit of chalk. And if I lose, then it wasn't meant to be. And if I win, then we're geniuses. So I'm going to pick Edgar Chairez, but I think I am going to lay down some chalk on Daniel Lacerda.
Yeah, we play numbers here. I think I remember that what you were saying because I think I had Tracy Cortez in my in this like degenerate parlay. I had Tracy Cortez. I had Daniel Da Silva by inside the distance or by KO. It was like at plus 500, something weird. And then I had Roman Kopylov and Lupi Godinez, I think. And when I saw that he was getting submitted, and I was like, "Fuck, there goes my money." Like it is what it is. But then the referee said it was a no contest. Like I screamed. I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like we move on, baby.
Remember, you
We push.
celebrated.
What's that?
I said, I remember you celebrating. You definitely did have a parlay on that.
Yeah. We I was like, we push, baby, we push. But yeah, I'm willing to take a shot at Daniel Lacerda. It's a great learning experience. Uh, that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, we can move forward. Jesus,
And if
go ahead.
anything, it just grows. If anything, it just grows our addiction and our money roll. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Jesus Aguilar against Mateos Mendoza or Mendoca, however you want to say it. I think this is pretty easy to call in my opinion. I think Mendoca should win early. He is much bigger, but in my opinion, he has horrible gas tank, and this being at altitude does not help. Other than that, I think Jesus Aguilar should be. I think he should be pretty good. Round two, round three. My pick is Jesus Aguilar just because we're in altitude, and I know Mateos Mendoca does gas horribly. He doesn't really have a gas tank. So, what do you think on this one?
Yeah. So looking at this, Aguilar 4-1 his last five fights, coming off that first round finish of Shannon Ross. He's a pretty good grappler. I think nine out of his 9 wins, 7 of them are by submission. He has pretty decent striking. He's gonna mix up his combination. It has decent power. And Mateus, isn't he from Chute Box too?
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, there's a lot of those
All the
guys.
boys are
Yeah,
fighting.
so Chute Box, we already know, good striking, pretty good BJJ, also very hittable, and can't forget the main thing of their superpowers, the colored hair. He's mainly a grappler, but he has the ability to strike and mix it up. I think Mateos is a dangerous guy on the feet and the ground. But looking at it, I think I'll pick him in this one. I just think he's probably the more dangerous of the two, so I'm gonna ride with him. Would I lay money on it? I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aguilar wins this fight. But I think I'll ride with Mateus on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mendoza, if he gets it done, he gets it done in the first round. After that, I think he gasses horribly, especially
Yeah,
being
it's first rounder, bust.
yeah, especially being at fuck. They're like a mile above, basically 100 feet away from heaven, because they're fighting at fucking 4,000. What is it, meters or whatever in altitude or feet? 4,000 feet
Yeah,
altitude.
it's okay.
Something ridiculous. So if it wasn't altitude, yes, I would definitely confidently pick Mateos Mendoca to win. But being at altitude, being that Jesus Aguilar, I believe he fights or he was training in altitude this for this camp. So that's also a factor. I know I had saved some stats. Uh, bear with
Yeah,
me.
like he's been there for like 6 weeks already.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So that is definitely gonna play a factor because Aguilar, I think I know what you're talking about. I saw something where he's already been out there for like 6 weeks, and Mateus had barely came in. I think that week. So that probably will play a factor. I think he's just more dangerous, and it's probably round one or bust, but definitely not laying anything on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, jeez, dude, it's like my apartment's lights just went off, but I still have internet. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm in the dark right now. Ridiculous.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, I thought I was gonna lose internet, but I guess I have internet, but I don't have light. Like this is so weird. I'm in the pitch black, and you
The
can't.
pod continues.
The pod continues. This is how dedicated we are. The pod continues. I don't even know if we're recording well or anything of that nature because everything just shut off. You know, like my computer's still on, but everything else, I don't know if we're still live. So there's that. Oh Jesus, 1 second.